I turned 41 this week, and as a registered dietitian, I'm not eating for how I look today. I'm eating for how my body works when I'm 80. Because here's what nobody tells you. Most health advice for people over 40 is either extreme, outdated, or designed to sell you some crap that you really don't need. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 7 things that research actually supports for health after 40. But here's the part that will surprise you. It's not about eating less or focusing on restriction. It's the exact opposite. And if health advice has let you down before, this one is different. I'm here for you, so keep watching. Hey there, I'm Amy. I'm a registered dietitian, and I have spent years helping people build sustainable health without the extremes. This isn't about perfection or fitting into a certain size jeans. It's about fueling muscle, protecting our bone density, and building a body that works for you for the next 40, 50 years and beyond. And I'm sharing all this with you just like I do with my family and my friends. Real texts like, Abe, I'm slowly gaining weight after I hit 40. What the actual heck? Or when a friend asks, do I really need to prioritize protein or is it all internet hype? This is that conversation. No fluff, no gimmicks, but what actually works. Let's start with the foundation because everything else depends on this. Starting at around age 30, we lose 3 to 8% of our muscle mass each decade if we're not actively preserving it. Here's what happens after 40. That means lower metabolic rate, weaker bones, less stability, and less ability to do the things that you love. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal until you realize what that means for your actual life. This is how frailty can start. Not suddenly at 80, slowly starting in midlife when muscle and bone aren't protected. And it's not about just looking strong. Of course, we all want that. It's about not becoming fragile. Balance, metabolism, carrying groceries, picking up your kids or grandkids, getting up off the floor without help. Research shows that resistance training reduces all-cause mortality by 15%, heart disease mortality by 19%, and cancer mortality by 14%. That's not from a supplement, that's from lifting weights consistently. This is why protein and strength matter so much now. You need at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day, and if you're looking to build muscle, 1.5 to 2.0 grams might be closer to your target. And under-eating protein after 40 doesn't just slow progress, it accelerates muscle loss and bone loss, especially for women. Now, in practical terms, this is roughly 25 to 30 grams of protein per meal, minimum. So in real life, it looks something like this. Breakfast with 2 eggs, turkey sausage, some sourdough toast, and fruit. Roughly 25 to 30 grams of protein. Lunch could be a mason jar taco salad with some ground turkey, beans, veggies, and cheese, around 30 grams. And then dinner, some roasted chicken or salmon, throw some potatoes in there and broccoli on a sheet tray, a normal plate that gets you another 35-ish grams. Now, this isn't anything fancy, but it is enough food, fuel, and protein eaten consistently. Now, look, I know protein is everywhere right now. It's trendy. Every product has high protein slapped on the label. But here's the truth. Skip the protein cereal, the protein chips, definitely skip the protein Pop-Tarts. Seriously, all that stuff is kind of garbage. Go for real foods as often as possible. Throw in a protein bar when you need it. Now, I love a good homemade one. Recipes are going to be linked down below. And yes, I do think some supplements like vitamin D and creatine can be helpful depending on your labs and your goals. But most powders and capsules that are promising some miracle results, they are definitely not going to move the needle. And it's a big ol' waste of your money. Food first, strength, don't skip this, and movement first. That's where the real results come from. And since this video is coming out on my birthday, I want to talk about something that separates the people who thrive after 40 from the people who don't. It's not glamorous, but it's everything. Do the hard thing. It's hard to wake up at 5 a.m. and work out. It's hard to spend 45 minutes on a Sunday meal planning. It's hard to say no to another drink or another dinner out. It's hard to be consistent when consistency feels boring. But here's what I want you to see. Doing the hard things now is the investment that pays off for decades later. The hard later is struggling to get off the floor in your 70s. The hard later is being on a bunch of medications. The hard later is not being able to pick up your grandkids. The hard later is losing your independence because you didn't do the hard stuff now. Frailty isn't a single event. It's decades of small decisions adding up. At 41, I'm choosing the easier hard. The 5:30 a.m. workout is the easier hard. The meal prep on weekends for about 45 minutes is the easier hard now. Eating well most of the time is the easier hard. And here's what I know about you. You can do hard things. You've already done so many hard things in your life. You've navigated challenges I don't even know about. This is just the next hard thing, and you are capable of it. The beautiful part, that hard becomes your normal. And it's not so hard anymore. It stops feeling hard. And then you get to enjoy the payoff for decades. Here's what this actually looks like. Strength training 2 to 3 times per week with progressive resistance. You don't need a fancy gym. You need consistency. And you need to eat enough to support it. You can't build muscle or protect your bones on 1,000 calories a day. Restriction makes you smaller, not stronger. And hey, real quick, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with someone you know. It helps out the channel and it helps me help more of you. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, here's where most people miss the entire point. You can eat really well, get your protein, do your strength training, and still sabotage yourself at night. We need to talk about sleep because this is when recovery happens. And when we don't prioritize it and we just brush off 5 hours as enough, we are stuck in a cycle and we're not getting the recovery that our body truly needs. And then add to that maybe some late night snacking, and then we're having less quality sleep at night. Sleep is key for us to do all the things. So the late night scrolling, that blue light from your phone or your tablet that you've got in bed with you, it messes with your sleep. Put it away. Don't even bring it into your bedroom. We need those good quality 7 to 8 hours of sleep so that our body can repair and refuel, and so that we are set up for that workout feeling good. The flip side of that is not getting enough sleep, brushing off 5 hours as enough because we've stayed up too late scrolling Instagram, and then we feel super groggy. Guess what? It impacts our hunger hormones, so we are hungrier and less satisfied the next day. And it's a cycle that just feeds itself and not a good one. So prioritize sleep. Set up a sleep routine that's helpful to you. Leave your phone out of your room. Now let's talk about stress, because stress does a number on all of us. It affects our sleep, our digestion, our hormones, everything. The quickest way to combat it, deep breaths. When you are in a stressful situation, inhale for 4, exhale for 4. And yes, it really works. This isn't some fluffy wellness tip. It's biology. Let's give it a go. Ready? Inhale for 4. Exhale for 4. I'm telling you, it takes you from like a 10 to a 3 or even lower, and it feels so good. Stress management and sleep are just as important as eating well, because recovery is where muscle and bone actually adapt. And we need to give our bodies that time and that allowance to do those things. So find stress management that works for you, whether it is taking those breath breaks throughout the day or going for a walk, but prioritizing it is key. We've covered how you're eating and how you're sleeping, but there's a piece most nutrition advice misses entirely: your mental health. Mental health is health, and one of the simplest ways to support it, getting outside. Time in nature actually reduces cortisol, improves our mood, and gives mental clarity. Research backs this up. And here's the bonus. For many people over 40, they're also vitamin D deficient, and that directly affects our bone density, muscle strength, and fall risk. Now, you can supplement with vitamin D. I just started doing that, and I really needed to. But getting outside gives you benefits that no pill can really replicate. This is actually how I kicked off 2026. Daily walks outside with my dog Maple and my husband Devin. It's not complicated. It's not a formal workout. It's just consistent time outside, moving my body, clearing my head. We're doing about 25-minute walks daily. We have a certain route in our neighborhood that we're doing, and ideally getting some morning sunlight, although we have done some walks in the dark with a headlamp because That's what schedule allowed. And these aren't just walks for exercise. They are for mental clarity, stress relief, and for your overall well-being. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, okay, this all makes sense, but how do I actually put this into practice? I've got you. I work one-on-one with you through nutrition counseling packages that include my meal planning program and live meal prep classes. And everything is personalized to you and your goals and your needs so that you can actually execute them. And to celebrate my 41st birthday, I'm offering $41 off your first month. And that's running through March 31st. The link is down in the description, QR code right here. Check it out. I would love to help you. Now, once you've got your protein and your movement down and you're consistent, let's talk about sugar and blood sugar. Years ago, I had to cut back on nightly snacking, and honestly, my skin got so much clearer. Now, if I eat too much sugar, I break out. It's like my body's way of telling me it has had enough, and there's a reason for that. As we age, especially during perimenopause, menopause for women, insulin sensitivity decreases, meaning that our body handles blood sugar and carbohydrates differently than it did when we were in our 20s. Sugar spikes your blood sugar, and sugar is also considered an accomplice to inflammation, and there's no health benefit. It just tastes really good. Now, here's one of my favorite tips around sugar and sweets. Set intention, gentle boundaries around desserts. Here's what works for me in my house. We do dessert Fridays. And this is helpful for everyone. This is so my boys don't ask if they can have dessert every single night. My husband and I get a treat once a week. And sometimes I'll make something that's just for the kids because honestly, sugar just doesn't make me feel great anymore. I'm not saying I never have sugar. I try to make dessert options a little bit healthier. I have a whole bunch of recipes around that. Check out the link below. But being intentional around our snacks, cutting back on mindless snacking, afternoon treats, that's where those blood sugar crashes happen, and that's where it adds up. So instead, focus on balanced meals during the day. If you have enough protein, fat, and carbs together, I promise you, you are going to feel full and fueled, and your sugar cravings will reduce. And this keeps your blood sugar steady, your energy up, and honestly, it makes you less likely to crave sugar at night anyway. Here's what I see constantly. Someone decides they're going all in. I'm going to meal prep for 5 hours every Sunday, work out 7 days a week, cut out sugar completely, track every macro. And then they make it 3 days. Life gets busy, someone gets sick, and they quit. But here you go. You are not a failure. Your plan was unrealistic. You have a job, commitments, maybe kids, maybe aging parents, maybe all of the above. Consistency beats intensity. A simple, realistic plan that you can stick with for 3, 4, 6 months and beyond will always beat a restrictive plan that you quit after 2 weeks. Here's what actually works. 3 solid meals a day with protein at each, a few simple snacks you can rely on, 3 strength training sessions a week, and a couple of walks for mental health, movement, and some vitamin D. Now, here's where most people get stuck. Knowing what to do and actually doing it are 2 different things. This is where implementation, that consistency, matters more than the information you have. So pick what you're going to do. Maybe you start strength training once a week, and then you build up to 2, and then you get to that 3. Start walking for 10 minutes a day, and then you build up to 15, 20, 30. Find that consistency and implement it in your life. Which brings us to my focus this year, my 41st year, strength. My goal this year is to finally be able to do a pull-up without my bands as support. And to be strong enough to carry in my groceries at 80, to pick up my grandkids, to get up off the floor without needing help, to travel and hike and live without my body limiting me. And research backs this up. Higher cardiorespiratory fitness in midlife is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. Individuals in the highest 5% of fitness lived approximately 5 years longer than those in the lowest 5%. 5 years longer. That's what the hard looks like now. Not vanity, not a smaller number on the scale. Time, longevity. And none of it happens without adequate protein, enough calories, and nutrient-dense food. You can't build muscle on restriction, and you can't preserve bone density without eating enough. So remember at the beginning when I said the one thing that would surprise you? Here it is. The biggest mistake I see after 40 is people trying to get smaller. when what they actually need is to get stronger, better fueled, and more resilient. That means more protein, yes, more strength training, more recovery, better sleep, not more restriction. Because undereating doesn't make you healthier, it makes you tired, weak, and at risk for bone loss and muscle loss. And that is the opposite of what we're trying to do here. So here's your longevity strategy. Plan, prep, protein, lift, sleep, reduce stress as much as you can, get outside, move more, restrict less. That's it. That's what the research supports. That's what I'm doing, what I am sharing with my friends and my family. That's what I am working toward, and that's what I see work with real people over 40. And again, if you need help making this happen, nutrition counseling packages are $41 off through March 31st. The link is down in the description. Do the hard things now. Build muscle, eat enough, lift heavy. Your 80-year-old self will thank you. You can do it. I absolutely believe in you. And for more tips on making this year your year for health, head right on over to my How to Get Healthy in 2026 video next. It's right here. And I will see you over there. Until then, eat well, be well, thrive.